advice. A little advice. Come on, yeah. Just a little advice. Just a little advice with Christine Little. Check it out.
Hey there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of A Little Advice. I do not talk like this. This is episode number 28 with Michael Betancourt. Betancourt. Oh, that's hard. I have trouble saying people's names so much. But anyway, this is a fun episode. Michael and I were just on the road together in Oregon. He was headlining and I was featuring, and we were in Coos Bay and Medford. We had a really great time. So one day we just met up in this pub, the place that we're staying, and recorded this episode. So you will hear lots of fun stuff in the background. You're going to hear slot machines, people grumbling, talking. I mean, it's fantastic. In this episode, we talk about a problem of homelessness and veterans, and also find out if you do this one thing that homeless people actually hate. So stay tuned to listen to that. And then in the second half, we go into Michael's writing process and snomics. That didn't work. All podcast related. If you guys would like to talk more about this episode, go on over to the Facebook group, Little Advice Podcast Facebook group, or slide into my DMs on Instagram. I am at the XTeen Little. Without further ado, here is episode number 28 with Michael Betancourt. Thank you so much for listening to Hello, I am sitting here with Mike Betancourt. He is hovering a glass over the table as to not disrupt the recording. Hello, Mike.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Okay, you can set the glass down.
I'm going.
Okay.
Almost there. There, I'm done. Look at that.
That was really smooth.
Not even a peep.
Not even a peep. So we just saw like a rock and roll Crocodile Dundee. This dude had a sword knife and a
big knife and a gun.
And a gun.
It's Oregon.
Dude, it's very Oregon. It's very like outdoorsy here.
Yeah.
It's like mountains. We're in where are we?
Medford.
We're in Medford, Oregon. We just did a show at Chadswick. Is that right? Chadswick Pub.
Yeah.
We are at Chadswick Pub. We're gonna be here again
Pick up the
tonight.
glass.
Pick up the glass. Don't bug about it. Have you had a fun weekend so far? Mike's been headlining.
Yes, I have had a fun weekend. You're an awesome feature act. You set me up nicely. It's been fun working with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You as well.
Good times, huh?
Yeah, good times. So what's your problem?
Straight out the gate, huh? What's your problem, Mike?
Yeah.
What is my problem?
What is your problem?
My problem is you stressing out putting this episode out.
Really?
I felt the tension. What do you call it? What do you call your fans?
I don't call him anything.
You don't call them anything? You don't call them the
Advice?
little lights or
The lights?
the lights, the little tins?
No. Do you want to make up a name?
The Lillian tins?
That's a little much.
Christinites?
Ooh, X-teens. Whatever. We'll think.
The lighters.
Lighters.
Littles.
I like that
The
because lighters mean keep going.
The lighters.
Or
Yeah.
it means stop if you're a comedian. If you get the light.
Get the light.
Okay, so maybe not that one. But yeah, what's going on?
My problem. You want me to talk about my
Was
problem?
it really the stressing out about
Oh my God, it
podcast?
was. Okay, folks.
So here's the deal.
Oh.
I've been traveling a lot lately, and I am behind in the podcast, and I have this obligation. I want to get it out on Mondays. Like I
Don't hit the
strive
table.
to do that. I'm hitting my thigh instead of the table. So yes, I am stressing about it.
But we were about to play pool, and
We were playing
and
pool.
you're cutting me off. I'm trying to tell my problem, and you're cutting me off during my problem
All right, go
situation.
again.
Is it okay to do it?
Yeah, talk about the pool thing.
We were playing pool.
We already played pool. I'm just kidding.
Little lights, little tins, little. There you go. The lilies, the lilis. There you go. We were playing pool, and she was stressing. I'm like, she's like, I'm not having fun playing pool. And someone was about to come in. They started gambling, and the look on her face was,
I was
so.
pissed.
She's like, you're in a public place playing poker right now.
At a bar.
At
How
a bar
dare you? I'm
on a
intending to
Saturday
record
afternoon.
a podcast.
And look, there's some more people coming in.
More
They're
people
just
coming and
trying.
playing games. I'm just trying to have a good time. So, yeah, we played pool. You just beat me. It was a good game.
It was an excellent game because it was neck to neck.
I had fun.
I barely won. It's not beaten.
Yeah, you barely won.
Barely.
Just as long as you felt that.
yeah. I know
So
my
I'm
ways.
happy. But if you would have wiped me, there's people here, so if you hear talking in the background. Yeah, put it in your chair. There you go. We're sitting in these chairs that have cup holders in them.
Yeah.
And it's really fun.
Yeah. Very nice. Very director chairs type. Well, that was my only problem. So let's resolve it.
Was it your only problem?
That's it. I'm good. Life is good.
Okay.
I think people stressing out stuff they can't control is my big problem. Which is not just you. A lot of people do that.
So your problem is that other people stress out about stuff they can't control?
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like you have the same problem that they do. Because
No.
you can't control whether or not they stress out.
No, it's not me being stressed out. It's they're trying to control me during that situation.
Who's trying to control
I'm
you?
just seeing people that in general. Situations in general. Oh, let's go do this. We have to do this now. If we don't do it now, it's the end of the world. And I feel the stress. That's all.
The podcast thing?
No, just not. I didn't say just you. Just
Okay.
people in general that do that.
Well, that sounds really frustrating.
Yeah, that's my only problem. I think my problem is I can't let go and allow them. Bring me in. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think my problem is just not allowing, maybe not allowing them. No, that sounds wrong. I don't know. I just don't like the tension.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my problem is I can't be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. So maybe it's me. Maybe it's my problem.
Okay. Well, I mean, that makes sense.
I don't know how to be zen in an uncomfortable situation.
If someone's uptight, it's hard for you to be chill around them when you're
Yes.
getting all their uptight vibes.
Mm-hmm. Right on the nose.
Okay. So what do you do in those situations usually?
I usually call it out, make fun of the situation, play pool.
Does it help?
I had a good time playing pool, watching you get all mad at that one person playing poker, but other than that, it's all good.
Seems like you're very sensitive to people being uptight.
I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
So I think sensitive is like, for me, when someone says sensitive, it means like I get upset about it.
No, it has a negative
It's-
connotation. It just means you pick up on it, like
I think like, that's why.
you're sensing it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So more of an awareness. That's comedy. That's what comedy does to us.
You're
Makes
not
us-
lying.
Makes us aware of every little detail about everyone, and that's why we always overanalyze about everything. Except for when we smoke weed. We never overanalyze that. Are you allowed to talk about that?
You can talk about what you do. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. I do smoke weed, and I apologize for bringing that up on your podcast.
You can talk about whatever you want. It's legal.
Okay.
So,
You're too serious right now.
I know.
You're
I get
very
like
serious.
I really get like that.
You weren't
when
like that when
do
I first
this.
met you a couple days ago.
I
and-
wasn't like that?
No, and you had a long drive and you were tired, but you were. This is, yeah.
It's
You're-
intense, huh?
You're very serious right now on your
Yeah.
podcast, and I'm used to having fun on a podcast.
You're used to having a good time. Well, this is not that kind of. This is
I
the kind of
can-
podcast where if you have fun, you will not survive on this podcast. No, I'm kidding. No, you can have fun. It's just that.
So why are you so serious on this podcast?
Why am
right
I
now?
so
Since you've seen me since we hung out for last 3 days, you know who I am, kind of. Technically.
Yeah, I feel like you're a little closed off, so I'm kind of in your face about it. But also, I just want to listen and be intense. If there's something you don't want to talk about, nothing comes up, I don't care. Let's just talk. But if there is an issue that's going on and I can help, then I'm gonna listen and be a little bit more serious than I would joking around about it too much. But maybe that doesn't help you. Who knows?
Well, it's my first time on your show, so I didn't listen to anything. That's all. I didn't listen to any of your episodes. You're like, you want a podcast, and all of a sudden you're just interrogation, light. So, tell me about
You know
your
what's so
dark
funny?
psychosis.
I do that to everyone. I'm like, oh, you should be on my podcast.
Yeah.
We're having a great rapport. And then they come on. I'm like, so what happened when you were 12?
Right.
They're like, what?
Yeah, just straight up. No, this is my show. Mine. And you will listen to me. Was that a laugh on your own podcast?
I'm sorry that
Oh my God.
I come off like a monster to
It's
you.
not a monster. It's just like, you should let me know it's going to be really intense. That's all.
We haven't even talked about anything. I didn't
No.
think it was that intense.
It's just because like I've seen who you are the last couple of days, and then all of a sudden, now it's time for a therapy talk.
Okay.
Look, you're not even cracking a smile. You're just straight up.
I don't know. It wasn't funny to me.
It's okay.
I know. Shit. All right. Well, let's talk about general, like a general problem that we could.
All right,
if you
let's
could
talk
help,
about-
if you could help someone with one
Let's
thing.
talk about homelessness.
Okay, yeah, let's talk
Right.
about it.
Have some ice.
Got some ice in your mouth?
Mm-hmm. There we go. Homelessness. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, what do you
Let's
want
talk about how people always ignore the homeless people,
Okay.
and they don't acknowledge. You know what I found out? In Sacramento every summer when it gets really, really hot, I get me and a couple of people together, and we walk around Sacramento and give homeless people water, and
Oh, that's nice.
not just drop it off. Like you walk around the whole city when it's at its most peak, like 105 degrees. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to do that. Well, that's the whole purpose of it, is you walk the streets with them and give them water and help them out and listen to their stories. And you believe it or not, just an ice cold bottle of water on the hottest day of the year, just walking up to them and give it to them, they seem so relieved and so welcoming and so loving that their guard automatically drops down and they want to talk to you. You know, I highly recommend doing that in any city. Whenever it gets hot, pick one day out of the week, whenever it is, get a bunch of ice, get a bunch of water, and walk around the city and talk to the homeless people.
How do you carry it around? Like in a backpack? Or?
I get a cart
Okay.
and some ice chest, and other people do that as well, and they join me, and we all walk around and just hearing the stories, because they need to be hydrated. No one ever thinks about that,
Why do you think people don't think to do that, to go out of their way?
because they see homeless people as part of the shadows of the streets. They see homeless people as a garbage can standing next to the garbage can, or part of the paint on the wall.
So they just dehumanize them,
They do,
basically.
100%.
Why? What's up with that?
Because we're so used to the propaganda of what homeless people are. Oh, they're drug addicts. They've been put there for a reason. So it's not my fault. I don't have any money. So if I don't have any money, I'm just going to pretend I don't have any.
And then there's also that stigma of like, oh, I always see this person here. Like, there's job openings. My mom said that recently about someone. She's like, this guy's been sitting at this, when you get off the freeway, like asking for money for years. She's like, and there was a job opening at, FedEx. I wonder why he didn't try to get a job there. He's like, well, he could be a felon. It's hard to get a job.
Or just
when you're a
mental
felon.
illness.
Yeah.
You can't just deal with this type of society. You can't be a part of this. You can't cope with it. And there's not a lot of mental hospitals to bring these people in. So how do they survive? Some people are have schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And they're walking with this mental illness in the shadows of the streets, and people are belittling them and damning them for their own sickness. And no one acknowledges. So my advice, if you want to give a homeless, this is a great advice I heard from a homeless person. I was on my way to a comedy show, and I saw a homeless guy, and I was like, hey man, are you hungry? He's like, yeah man. So him and I went to McDonald's. I had him wash his hands, come out, I got him a huge McDonald's meal, and then we walked out and we were talking. He's like, hey dude, I just want to let you know, man, I'm not mean to be ungrateful, but I'm really thankful that you gave me this McDonald's meal, because I'm so sick and tired of people giving me or open boxes of pizza. Just few, because pizza's easy to give away. So
And it's like they're leftovers.
right. So
Ugh,
don't
yeah.
give homeless people
Because
pizza.
also it's like you, like as a homeless person, you're still a human. You don't know where that food's been.
Right.
Or
But if you're starving, you'll eat
eat
anything.
it. Yeah.
And someone just got at a pizzeria or college kids just drinking and like, oh, I'm gonna do a purpose. Here's my box of pizza. There you go, buddy. I did my purpose.
What do you think people should do with that pizza?
Don't give it to them and give them a fresh meal.
Give them a fresh one.
Take them out to dinner.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. Take them out, sit down, have a meal.
I think
with them.
people feel guilty sometimes too throwing food away.
That's fine, but you can save that food for the next day. You
Right.
can buy them a fresh meal. That's what they want. Fresh meal, couple bucks, someone to talk to, listen to their name, who they are, what's their problem. They have a problem. If they want to talk about it, they don't, that's fine. But treat them like a human being, you know? And it's our responsibility that, we can't give money all the time. You can buy it or just sit down and say, look, I don't have any money, but I got a moment to talk to you. Are you okay? Is there any place you're going to need? Can I pray for you right now? Is there anything we can do? Just for that moment.
Yeah.
Just to acknowledge them.
So it's not even always just about money, just by saying like,
A human
"Hi,
connection.
I see you."
Talking to a human
Well, we
being.
need that.
Yeah.
We need to have. It's part of our survival. There's been studies that show that people who are alone don't live as long, and
Right.
like babies like need that. We need affection. We need attention and to be seen. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Who do you think these people are? Who do you think these homeless people are?
Homeless people are runaways, foster kids that grew up and said, screw it, I'm just going to live like this. Veterans,
Yeah.
you know, that's the biggest issue. And people still don't acknowledge them. And those people, the veterans that are homeless, you know, they either lost their job or they just couldn't cope when they came back. And it's been a downward spiral since then. You know, they don't have a rehabilitation when they get out of the military, especially if, you know, veterans that have been through some horrible things. There's no rehabilitation. There's no decompressed.
Yeah.
There's like, okay, here's your stuff, now get out.
Jeez.
Next person,
Wow.
you know? But they take their time to break you down and make you be part of them, but they don't teach you how to become back to a civilian again.
Get back into society.
Right, they don't teach you
Because
that.
it's like your own society when you're in the
Right.
military. And
Right. And they don't teach you how to come back and be a normal human being again. They don't teach you how to deal with trauma. They don't teach you how to deal with cope. They teach you how to deal with cope. They don't teach you how to cope with trauma or your anxieties or your guilt or anything. I met this other Marine the other day that says he has to stand by a wall. He can't have people behind him, and he's always looking around him.
serious?
Yeah, he cannot have.
Oh my God.
He always has to walk along a wall wherever he goes. He freaks out when he hears a firework.
Oh my God.
If someone touches him from behind, he's gonna freak out. And he's not homeless, but you know,
That stays with you.
If
That's
no
like-
one's helping them, he's gonna end up homeless. He's gonna end up on drugs. He's gonna end up on the side of the road, and everyone's like, "Look at that homeless guy that needs to get a job."
Jeez.
You know, it's a vicious cycle. And I know we can't do a lot, but we should do a lot.
What do you think we could do to? Because it is frustrating. I feel like sometimes seeing homeless people, I'm like, oh, if I gave them a bunch of money, that would solve all their problems. But I don't think it would, because there's a reason how they got there in the first place. Do you think there could be some sort of rehabilitation program or some kind of like acclimation thing? I don't know.
But it's the funding that we can't afford. That's up to the state that can have funding to help out.
But do you think that would help if there were programs?
There should be more mental hospitals
mental hospitals.
to give free aid to any homeless person and have them stay there until they get better, or you know. And some of them don't want to get better. You know,
Yeah.
some of them just because they've been abused and they're in this extreme life now that they don't feel like it's okay to live a normal life anymore. But if you give them a helping hand, if there is a rehabilitation center so they can, you know, detox and then be on their merry way afterwards, just shows that someone cares. That's the main thing.
Yeah, they're like forgotten about.
Oh,
and the butt of a lot of jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely making me think more being up here in Oregon and seeing all the because there's a lot of veterans here
Mm-hmm.
and people who've been through a lot, and to think like, oh, this person could be on the street if they didn't have treatment, or if things like kept going south. It's sad.
Yeah, but if we keep being vocal about the problem,
Yeah.
and keep talking about it and figuring out what we need to do. So next time you see a homeless person, find their name.
Do you think it's safe for women to do that, or do you?
In an open space, yeah.
Yeah.
Just say I'll be right back. I'm gonna get you something to eat and just drop them something off. Just something. I'm not saying go in a dark alley at night and say, "Hey, do you mind if I hang out with you for a little bit?" I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest that.
Yeah.
But if you're worried about your safety, I mean.
If you are worried about your safety, do you know of any other ways people could help without maybe being on the front lines? Because maybe someone wants to help and they have some sort of PTSD too, where they are uncomfortable with strangers, but they still want to help. Do you think there's another program they could get involved in, or some kind of way that they could?
If someone, find a homeless shelter and donate your time, or donate food, donate water, ask questions.
But fresh stuff, not your used takeout food.
Right. But just donate your time. Be aware that the problem's there. It's not going to go away for a very long time. It's not going to change for a while.
Do you think it's getting worse?
Oh, it's going to get worse before it gets better, which is unfortunate. It's a constant battle for people that don't want to change and people that want to change that they can't because they're stuck because of the system is broken. So you got this counterintuitive that's always going to be in their path. A homeless person that doesn't want to change, that's happy where they're at, and a homeless person that wants to get out of there but can't because there's no help whatsoever. You can shower someone up all you want, you can feed them, but how are they going to help out mentally? That's the big issue.
Yeah. It's
How are you
more
gonna-
than part of survival is your mental health and
How are
your
you going to
capacity.
rehabilitate them mentally?
Yeah.
That's the big issue, and that's something that's out of our hands. I wish there was something that we can do but since the Reagan administration, he shut down all those
the
mental hospitals, and it's been a virus since. It's been this horrible, nasty cycle since.
Do you think it would help to solicit your senators or local representatives to reinstate some of those programs and make it
I don't know.
to go that route?
I'm so tired of politics, and I'm so sick of you have to jump through hoops just to get something done for people. Well, you don't understand it's cost. You hear the same stories all the time from politicians. Oh, well, we could if we had funding. We could if we had the laws changed. We could. If they wanted to change it, they would have done it already, and they don't because they get money.
They get money?
Yeah.
Like they're paid off?
Not just paid off. It's easier to have a fucked up society that you're trying to fix but never fix it. Just like getting the roads always fixed, but it's never going to get done because that's lucrative. It's money. It's a business. So when people are broken, and you're a senator or a district, whatever, you're in politics, and you can fight a good fight, but someone's always going to stop you because that you're taking money away from that person.
That's so messed up. If people, I think it seems like the root of all this is people are kind of like out for themselves.
Just like career politicians. Why are they a career politician? It's supposed to be a civil duty. And career politicians are there for 20, 30, 40 years, making a shitload of money and not giving one dime to a homeless person. Those are the problems. Those old farts that are in Congress that are...
Do you think that's a problem for everyone, though, in general, people who have and don't share the wealth?
I'm sorry, say
Do you
again?
think that's a problem in general?
By the way,
though?
I like this now. I like being on the serious mode now.
You
No,
like it
yeah,
when
yeah.
it's not about you?
No, I was just trying to figure out where the problem was, and now we found out the problem. So, see? Even the casino agreed with me.
It's getting popping in here.
But go ahead. What was your
I
question?
don't remember.
Damn it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I forget my train of thought all the time.
I think, what'd you say about the
Oh,
politicians?
do you think it would help too if more people who weren't even in politics, who had the wealth, who had the money, made more of an effort to help those disenfranchised people?
Well, let's talk about Netflix. let's talk about the owner of Netflix that got a huge tax break that didn't have to pay any taxes. And he has $180 billion coming back at him.
Coming back at us.
Yeah.
Wait, he's getting 180 bucks?
Something like that.
Like tax return?
Yeah.
Huh.
He got a huge tax break. He's getting a huge fat check.
So do you think if he took the money that he didn't have to pay in taxes and the difference from last year, if he took
Could you
that
imagine
money?
a privately owned mental hospital that's produced by Netflix?
Well, you know what? If there was a privately funded place, that raises more concerns too. Like with prisons, it's like they're going to want to keep people sick because it's a
Right.
business.
Right.
Jeez Louise. This feels like a...
The problem is the
I
problem.
don't know I don't know how to fix it.
That's the problem. The problem is the problem. That's the problem, which is the problem.
Problem.
That is the problem.
Problem.
But it's a problem.
Problem.
You're laughing. Nice.
I laugh all the time.
I know. Just so not used to you being serious.
I'm
Anyways.
serious all the time.
No, you're not.
Yes, I
On
am.
stage, you're not. You're crushing on stage, by the way.
I'm very serious when I'm up there.
Really?
Yes. That's why, I don't know. Serious, you gotta focus, you know. You know what's going on.
But yeah, that's the problem. What's going on today? And that's my problem.
Okay, well, I don't really think you have any takeaways from this, but I can tell you what some of my takeaways have been. Don't give people your used food.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think people's hearts are in the right place, but yeah, it is kind of gross. It's like, I don't want your picked over stuff. I don't know you. You don't
Yeah,
know
but-
what people have put in that.
But our heart's in the right place because we were conditioned just to give leftovers. No one ever thought to give fresh food. Because
There-
I didn't even think about that when that homeless man told
Yeah.
me. I'm sorry, Gary. I'm going to call him Gary. Greg. That's what his name is.
Well, don't tell us. I mean, maybe he doesn't want his name.
He's not going to listen to this
You don't know that.
today. He's not going to listen to this
Okay,
today.
well, it's not going to come out today, so
So
touche.
there you go.
All
So
right.
he'll probably, when is this coming out?
Monday.
Okay, he'll listen to this on Monday.
Okay.
Anyways, he brought it to my attention, and I just walked him to McDonald's because it was the closest thing right there, and I said, "All right, let's go." But then when he told me, it just blew my mind. I was like, something so simple about giving used pizza away is, yeah, they're grateful, but they don't want it.
It's like also a little, like, I don't know, here are my leftovers.
Yeah, but we don't think that. We think we're doing a good job.
Yeah, we definitely do.
You know, here's your fresh pizza. You know, we don't think about that.
Yeah.
You know, so for him to tell me that, I've never forgotten about it. And I always tell people all the time, don't give them pizza.
So spread the word.
Yeah.
Spread the word. Okay, so that's another takeaway. Spread the word that they don't want your used pizza. Do you think he speaks for everyone?
I'm sure he does.
Okay.
Because I've seen some people give pizza to homeless people, and ever since he told me, I've been aware of it. I just see the look on the homeless people's face like, thank you. I'll eat this.
Jeez. Okay.
I'll eat this
I heard
stale
about
pizza.
this app or some kind of program where they take the leftover food from restaurants or grocery store or something like that and donate the food to places. I think that's a little different because they were gonna just throw that food out. It's not like it was already served to someone.
Mhm.
So what do you think about some program like that? I forget what it's called, but it's really interesting.
Whatever we can get, just feed people. I think that's the main thing. Just get people involved and concerned. Because people see homeless people from a distance and they feel bad, but they don't do anything about it. Not even for 1 second. Not even walking up to them.
I mean, I don't think everyone's like that, but yeah, and I don't mean to say hashtag all lives matter on this, but yeah. Like, I think people should definitely take care more.
Yeah.
Take care of each other.
Show compassion,
Yeah.
care, acknowledge them, say hello. Even just saying hello, a simple hello to a homeless person while you're walking by. Hey, buddy, how you doing? You doing all right? Hang in there. Whatever it is. Because people don't even want to say hello to them. People don't even want to talk to them. Could you imagine not being people looking at you and don't even want to say hello?
You feel
to
like
you?
a ghost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's got to mess with your mind even more.
totally. And it makes you not want to be a part of society because
Yeah.
they don't want you anyways. So why do I need to get a job? Why do I need to be a part of this?
Dang. That's sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. but we can do something about it.
All right.
We can make changes.
Well, this has definitely made me think a lot. And I get so wrapped up in my issues, and I don't have extreme survival issues. Some, but not extreme. And
Right.
to be grateful for what I do have.
All of us are like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, God damn it, why is my internet not working? But do homeless people worry about that? No, they don't. Homeless people worry about their cell phone not taking pictures. They don't care about that. They don't care if someone's not liking their Instagram photos.
Well, that's something everybody cares about.
Yeah, but
Yeah. I'm kidding. All right, well, when we come back, we're going to lighten it up a little bit. I'm sure you'll be happy about that. And we're going to talk about your creative, your joke writing process. Is that something you're open to?
sure.
All right, cool. When we come back on A Little Advice. Hello. Thanks again for listening to A Little Advice podcast. If you guys like what you're listening to, please go ahead and rate 5 stars, leave a review, and share the podcast with someone you think would like it. If you'd like to see me do comedy live, guess what? Well, you can. All you gotta do is go to my website, christinelittle.net, look under my show dates. I'll have all my show dates there. Next month, I'll be in Washington the week of March 13th through the 24th, doing shows on a tour with 2 other comedians, Sophia Alexandra and Hannah Hogan. We are doing the TV Fameless Tour. Very, very excited about that, so be on the lookout for details. And thank you again for listening to A Little Advice. And we are back several moments later. I am here with Mike Betancourt, who I always want to call Davenport. Do you know that?
You want to call me Mike Davenport?
Yeah.
Sounds very Richie.
Is there a Mike Davenport?
I'm Michael Davenport
Yeah, I guess it does.
from Beverly Hills that drinks champagne on the weekends at noon.
It sounds like you definitely wear a top hat.
Yes. And a monocle.
And a monocle.
Yes. And a cane. And I walk my dog.
I will say I saw 2 people with canes today.
Yeah.
One of them was the manager. He fell last night. Did you know that?
Yeah, how'd he fall?
He was walking up his steps. He fell. You never know when life's going to get you. You guys be careful out there.
Yes. Make sure you have your top hat and monocle there as well.
My mom told me some car almost ran into her head on when she was driving.
When?
Like the other day. They were on the wrong side of the road.
Crazy.
Keep up. And she was like, if I was on my phone, I would have missed that.
Holy shit.
Which is admitting that she looks at her phone when she's driving.
She's texting.
But do you? Do you ever look at your phone while you're driving?
I have a servant that looks at my phone
Ah.
because I'm Michael Davenport.
What's your servant's name? Mike Betancourt?
No. Jeeves.
Jeeves.
Jeeves
I
is...
used to love Ask Jeeves.
Yeah, what
that
happened to him?
website?
What happened to him?
Google.
That's what happened to him.
So tell me about your writing process when you come up with jokes. Like, what is your... Do you have a write? Do you sit down and write?
What I'm doing right now, just take
Clowning?
Clowning and take it to the extreme and just play with it. Like Michael Davenport. Where could we take him? He's high society and just go all the way with him. Where are you going to go?
Mm. So you don't like sit down and just like, oh, sorry, you're looking at me so gross now. I have this essential oil stuff that I take for my stomach. And I just whipped it out and put some drops in, and then it spills everywhere. And I look up, and he just got the most disgusted look on his face. And it's hilarious.
It's not very Davenport.
It was pretty
No.
low class of me. I will say that. Okay, so you just come up with stuff, you just riff?
No, I write topics and ideas, and I just play with it, with each topic. I'm just constantly I write stuff down, but I constantly just have to be in the motion of
Yeah.
playing, and that's how I do my thought process.
So do you like write down a premise and then go on stage
Yeah.
and hash it out like
Yeah.
that?
Or
I get nervous to do that because I'm like, I don't have any jokes around it yet, and I don't trust that.
I trust
anything
myself,
will come. You do?
I trust myself. If I trust myself on a topic and I'm going to be okay with it, then I'll just go with that and play with it. And if they don't like it, just call it the moment and move forward. Move on to the next thing.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I guess like not getting too attached to whether or not it worked or.
Too attached to the words can really throw you off.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That's the hard part, is you want to say it verbatim, but with stand-up versus acting is you have so many variables. You have this girl taking a selfie, or this guy drinking, and the bartender's talking to them, and the wait staff's talking to them. People are collecting their paychecks, and no one wants to hear half the words that you wrote. You know, so you got to play to where you think they want to listen to. Saying I've done that many times with new bits. When I get
Well, sometimes I feel like I have to do that because I'm like, well, this is the joke. And if I don't say the joke right, it's going to be a different experience. So I feel like sometimes when I come out with new jokes, I don't have the new joke confidence. You know, I'm like, okay, I did this joke, I know this joke, right. And then I do the new joke, and I'm like, okay, focus.
Right.
And then it takes you out of the moment sometimes, and you don't really know, like, would this hit if I were chiller?
Right.
What do you think about that?
Trial and error. You know, if it doesn't do well tonight, it'll do well the next night, because as long as you're spitting it out and evolving and changing it, because it's not perfect when you write it out, but it'll be perfect 20 different times.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're spitting it out and being direct and having the confidence. It's hard to have confidence on new jokes, especially if they're touchy subjects, because you want to make a touchy subject, but you want to make sure it hits because you still want to be funny, and you don't know if it's going to be funny or not if it hasn't tested the waters yet.
So what do you do to feel more confident in your new jokes? Or do you
Sandwich
just do it?
sandwich them together. Yeah.
So good joke that you already know hits, new joke, and joke you already know hits.
Yeah, or riff and then throw in a new joke and then riff, and go in the crowd and go back and forth. I like to go in and out.
Yeah. Do you do a set list? And a set list is like, if you don't know, how you arrange the jokes you're gonna do. Bands have it like they're gonna play this song, and set list.
I
is
used
like,
to.
This joke.
I used to, but I love filling the moment out. And I'm just very comfortable with walking on the tightrope.
When did you quit using a set list?
Probably 5 years in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang, I still use a set list.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. If it works for you, what works for me is different than what works for you.
I
Everyone
try
has
to think, oh, what am I most excited about talking about? And then I try to build a set around that.
Okay.
Like, this is a joke I definitely want to do. This is a joke I definitely want to try. I want to close with this. Sometimes I don't get to close with what I want to close with because I run out of time. Because I put the set in different orders, so I don't know how long it's going to be. It's hard to tell. So that's another reason. Do you ever worry about that, or are you just like, oh, I'm just going to stop and go into my closer when it's time to
What I worry
close
about, I'm sorry.
if you don't do the set list? Worry about having time to do your closer?
You know what? My brain's all over the place when I'm on stage, so I don't worry about stuff. If I just go with feeling the moment. If it's subtle and it's almost time to go, then I'll riff in the crowd and then jump off that, or I just go to my closer and go from there. Yeah.
Have you ever said the same joke on stage twice during
Yes,
a set?
of course. Of course. What comic hasn't?
What happened?
And I wasn't even drunk or stoned.
No, it just
I was
happened.
100% sober. You just called. Wait, didn't I just say that?
Oh God.
Yeah. I've done that many
That's
times.
the worst.
I've done that many a times.
See,
Hey
that's
guys, how's everyone doing? Hey guys, how is it? Wait, I just said that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Totally.
Do you think the
Hilarious.
audience knows?
Of course they know. Audiences are smart. They're very intelligent people. Never underestimate an audience. Even if you think they're dumb as hell, but they're smart.
Right.
Very smart. Because they see everything. Even if it's the dumbest person there has a bag of rocks as a brain. Brain, I tell you what, he's still smart because he's still watching you. Still reacts to what's funny or not. You know, I don't think that's funny. You're like, what do you mean that's not funny? I just perform. You know, with their
Well, everybody's got different
Right.
tastes.
I think the attitude as well
Yeah.
of how you're presenting. If you go up there as a snob, people are gonna not receive that really well because you're being a Mike Davenport. The rudeness of comedy. Yes.
Do you think comics do that? They go on stage.
There's a lot of comics out there that are snobs that think that they're God's great gift to comedy, and you're just a comic. You're just making people laugh. You're not a nurse. You're not a doctor. You're not a surgeon. You're not saving lives. You're just making people laugh, and you're getting paid for that. So you should be humble and thankful that we have this gift to share.
Right.
So when people I've seen comics, when people go up to them and they say, "Oh my God, you were great. Thank you so much." "Yeah, thank you. Bye." And just brush them off because they have this holier-than-thou attitude.
Do you think that's what it is?
Majority. Some of them are shy. Some of them just can't talk to people. And, I get that as well. But there's a difference between that and being blatantly rude and a snob to someone. I get it when when they come off stage, they want to be very quiet and chill and not worry about the audience because they've seen audiences 100 times a day. I get that. But you could still be nice to someone. You could still be nice and reject them in a nice way. Like, "I'm sorry, I have to take off right now." Don't need to be a snob. That's just my theory.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. Do you think I'm being a snob? Is that?
What do you mean?
I was like, is this about me? Am I being a snob?
No?
Okay, I was just wondering. Sometimes I think comedians, they don't like how they do on stage, and so they brush off people's compliments.
Yeah.
And
I've done
that feels shitty for the person complimenting them because it's like, in a way, you're almost insulting their taste. But they just want to give you something, and it's
Right.
nice when someone receives something that they give you. So I think that could be a form of blowing people off. I don't think it's snobby. I think it's.
I've seen comics that
like
were snobs to the
self-deprecating.
staff and just coming in here with their nose up.
In here?
Not here.
Oh.
I'm just saying I've seen comics that just have this pompous attitude
Yeah.
that they're better than everyone else. How dare me, a headliner, talk to an open micer?
Do you think people like that are really just insecure, like they say sometimes, or they just really think their shit doesn't
I think they
stink?
were an ass before stand-up comedy,
Yeah.
and stand-up comedy made it worse.
Ooh.
Stand-up comedy put the steroids on their attitude.
Sometimes I feel like people get a little taste of power when they start doing something like stand-up.
It changes your life.
They abuse that power.
Yep.
Because they didn't have it before.
Right.
So, like being a cop or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Any other writing tricks you want to throw out? Not tricks, but
I like to brainstorm. I like to
how do you
write.
brainstorm?
Just write a list or have a topic and just try to write as many things about that topic as I can. Try to do at least 20,
And then what?
and then just play with what I can come up with. Just physically play with what I can come up with.
Like what do you mean? So say we're doing a list about turtles or something.
Turtles. Then I write Ninja Turtles. Then I write,
Slimy.
Slimy, and then I act it out. How do I act out Turtles? Michelangelo. "Oh, pizza, man. All right." It just, that's how I am. I'm a very animated person. I'm very high energy.
Yeah, you definitely are.
So when I,
Well, not right now, but on stage you're definitely like all over the place.
I can't be high energy on this show
Why?
because I'm Mike Davenport,
Oh my god.
the high society of podcasting.
People are gonna think your name's Mike Davenport, and they're gonna look you up and they're like, I couldn't find Mike Davenport anywhere.
That's okay.
Like
Don't-
it's oh, you don't want anyone here. I see you. Okay.
No.
Truth comes out.
Nah.
All good.
No, it's Mike Betancourt.
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 Betancourt. So you do the list. So you act it out, huh? That's how you kind of get into your jokes. I like that.
Act it out. I look like a crazy person sometimes when I'm
Where do you do it?
go for a run, go for a walk.
So you're just running. You're
Yeah.
like, the slimy turtle.
Yeah, pretty much. That's why I try to go for runs away from people as far as possible, so I can act it out. That's how I've always been.
Do you do it in your car?
Yeah. When I was a little kid, I used to always come up with stories, but I would do it when I'm riding my bike. And I would act it out while I'm riding my bike.
So you would say the story aloud, or
Out loud and just,
Really?
yeah, from beginning to end. And it was just a fun thing for me to do. I would always do that, ride back and forth around the whole neighborhood.
Did you ever share any of your stories with
No, I
anybody?
just acted out the whole time.
What?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've always done that when I was a kid. So that's my writing process.
I kind of did that with Barbies a little bit. I remember
Yeah?
playing with Barbies with my friends, and we did this whole movie, Sleeping with the Barbie, which is like, you know, the movie Sleeping with
Right.
the Enemy. That's what it was based off of.
That's hilarious.
It was like our own spin on it, and it was really good. I always remember that movie that we made.
Nice.
That's fun. So did you always know you wanted to do comedy?
No, I never wanted to be a stand-up comic. People were like, Mike, you're funny, you should do it. I'm like, no, I had too much high respect and never thought in my life to ever be
Yeah.
a part of that world. When I got out of the Navy, I wanted to be an actor, so I took a beginning acting class, and our final was to do stand-up comedy. I'm like, wait a minute, we're actors.
You're doing acting.
Yeah, well, you're an actor portraying a stand-up comedian. And I'm like, okay, I guess. But I did it, and I had a great set.
So that was your first time doing stand-up?
Yeah.
In an acting class?
Well, it was in front of a real audience
Mhm.
at this huge old-school vaudeville theater.
Wow.
And there was like 200 people there, and I did about 3 minutes, and everyone loved it. And I thought this was stand-up comedy because I was used to that environment because my dad was a preacher.
Oh, yeah.
And he used to perform in front of big and boasting audiences, so I was comfortable being on stage. And I said, all right, well, you know what? I started going to school, and I was like, you know what? This is not it for me.
Really?
I was like, I'm going to do this stand-up and just keep going, figure it out.
Wow.
So
That's pretty brave.
It was hard for me because I didn't want to be in school. I was just, whenever I had to make a decision. When I was going to school, I was thinking about comedy and thinking about jokes.
What were you going to school for?
I don't know. Didn't matter.
Oh, you didn't even know? Okay.
I didn't know what my path was. I just wanted to start taking something. And when I was going to school, I was thinking about jokes and comedy, even when the teacher's talking, and just in one ear out the other. Then when I was on stage, I was thinking about my writing papers and school, and I was like, you know what, I got to make a decision.
Which
It's
path?
either school or comedy. And I was like, I have to. I owe it to my. See?
Every time there's a big epiphany, that thing goes off.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they share their earnings with us.
They will. But yeah, I just had to make a path and make my right choice and say, this is where I want to go. You know, it's been bumpy, it's been rocky, it hasn't been easy. You know,
What's the hardest thing for you in stand-up?
staying booked, to stay booked, to get booked, especially when you're not famous or you're not a big name. You know, constantly, hi, I'm a comic, hi. Trying to break into clubs and
Yeah.
get work. I think the hardest part is when people don't get back to you.
Yeah.
And it's just,
It's like that homeless person. They don't
Yeah,
see you. They're
yes,
not even acknowledging
yeah.
you. Yeah.
I feel like a homeless person trying to get gigs. I feel like I'm holding a sign saying, can I get gigs?
We'll tell jokes.
We'll tell
for
jokes
food.
for food, yeah.
Dang.
I think that's the hardest thing. And there's, but that's going to change as long as we don't stop. As long as we don't stop. Because then we're going to have so much work. We're going to be like, what do we do with all this work? Hey, can someone else take this gig for me?
Oh my god.
Oh, I have so much work. What am I going to do?
So what would your dream scenario be? Like, what's your ideal situation with comedy? Would it be to play clubs, do theaters, go on a TV
My
show?
overall
Like,
thing is
what
I would
it?
like to make movies
Mhm.
and headline clubs and theaters. Kind of like Bobcat Goldthwait. He makes
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
He makes movies and he headlines everywhere. That
He's a San Francisco comic. Is that where
I
he
think
started?
he's originally from there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to make movies and headline. The only reason why I want to make movies is to put a spotlight on my stand-up.
Yeah.
I mean, I love filmmaking.
Well, it seems like you love storytelling.
I do.
Yeah. So that's a form of it.
Right.
So a stand-up.
Right. I love movies, but it's, just doing stand-up alone, you can't do that nowadays. That's why you have this podcast. That's why we have acting. That's why we have the writing. Just to be a road comic, you can't make a living off of that. Just be on the road as, just doing comedy. Not even podcasting, not even social media, nothing. Just being a comic on the road. And there's a lot of road comics out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they do. And
What is do the road?
do the road and not even get on, not even promote themselves properly, because they just drift from one comedy road town to another,
Dang.
and they don't realize 20, 30 years later, crap, I should have been investing on something else.
Well, because this is a business. Like, it's so you have to do marketing. We've got to do
Right.
the administrative.
But back in the
do
day,
marketing.
you didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Especially in the comedy boom, they used to have like a sign that says comedy, and everyone flocked, and people were getting deals left and right, and the people that weren't getting deals left and right got all these connections, and they just stayed and drifted on the road. And if you notice with some comics that they've been doing the same act for 25 years, A to Z, beginning to end. I've seen it,
That's like every comic's nightmare.
That's I try my best not to be that person, because time will happen, and before you know it, you're 20 years in. Are you doing the exact same act? Have you done anything else to produce anything, or
Jeez.
are you making efforts into create? You were making efforts because you're podcasting, and you're sticking to it,
I'm very strict about it.
Yeah, I can tell.
I stick to
Which
that
is great.
schedule.
I'm glad you are, because if you weren't sticking to it, then I'll do a podcast later, and your fans won't listen to you, and they'll go another route. But you're sticking to it. Like that guy who's not here now, that gave him the evil eye, was hilarious.
He kept sticking to his gambling.
But you're sticking to this
I
because
just get anxious.
because you believe in this, and you don't want to just do stand-up. You owe it to stand-up to do more, to put a spotlight on stand-up. Every comic does.
I mean, there's nothing. A lot of people I'm finding too don't go to live comedy anymore, and so I always appreciate when people come out and see a show. It's so awesome. It's like a completely different experience than just listening to it or watching it on TV.
Right.
Because there's an energy in the room. It's just,
Right.
it's completely different.
It's a real moment.
And it's unique. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, where can people find you? You have a podcast.
Yes.
I love the name of your podcast. Tell them the name of your podcast.
Thank you. My podcast is called Me, Mike, Self, and I. And my theme song's pretty awesome. I got a pretty cool theme
Sing
song.
it.
One of my buddies, he made it for me, but he goes, Me, Mike, Self, and I. Me, Mike, Self, and I. So
Oh.
it's a fun podcast. Changes all the time. I've got my impressions on there, and just have fun.
You're like clowning. Mine is like fun is not allowed here. This is a serious podcast.
Do not crack a smile
I
or
will
do anything.
Insurance. I will accept certain insurance providers.
Oh my God.
You think that's funny? Oh, and you're clapping. Wow. Well, let's see if you get rebooked on this podcast. Hey, no laughing. This
You're
isn't
right.
a laughing matter.
I'm sorry, it's time for Davenport. It's time for the Davenport Hour.
I have a very dry sense of humor sometimes, which I don't even understand. Is like, what? Is other humor wet? I don't get it. I said people don't. Wow, nothing. You're smiling. You're smiling.
You did it to me earlier.
I don't want to laugh
You're like,
sometimes.
I don't
I've
wanna
had a
laugh.
rough day.
I'm sorry.
Little people. I don't want.
There you go, little people.
I don't want to
No,
call them little people.
don't
It
call
sounds
them-
condescending, and
It
then
does.
also it's like little people.
Littletons?
No, my friend's last name is Littleton.
Littles?
Um,
Littles. Like Skittles.
A little
Littles.
advice. Vicers.
Vicers?
Yeah. If you're a Vicer, hashtag Vicer. Oh yeah. So they can find you on your podcast. What else?
My website, MikeBetancourt.com. It's
Mm-hmm.
BETANCOURT.com. You can find me on Facebook, Mike B Comedy. Instagram, Mike B Comedy.
And that's it.
That's it, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for doing this podcast and putting up with my serious demeanor for an hour.
It's okay. Has it been an hour?
I mean, if you
Kinda.
average it out, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been about an hour. You know.
It's good to have your energy drained
I'm a-
once in a while.
Wow. Damn. That makes me feel terrible.
So what's your problem?
I have a lot of problems. Yeah, I'm just soaking in this Oregon energy. I woke up late today. No one wants to hear this, but so I'm chilling like a villain. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast. If you like this podcast, please rate, subscribe, review. Be sure to check out Mike's podcast, Me, Mike, Self, and I. And thank you so much for listening to A Little Advice.